What's up, guys? It's Rey-Jay back with another video. And in this one, I want to break down what's happening with SPY, Tesla, Nvda, the QQQ, and a couple of other tickers. And break down what's happening with the economic calendar moving forward. Talk about some big factors involved with the markets. But just note that I am not a financial planner, so take nothing I say as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please check out the Moomoo link. We deposit $100, you're guaranteed 5 free stocks. Deposit $1,000, you're guaranteed 15 in total. Not to mention 8.1% APY on uninvested cash. Anyways, for the market, I just want to mention that right now SPY is trying to push a little bit higher, and we are at the day before CPI, so there tends to be some interesting volatility, interesting price action on days like this. So what's happening for today? Today is Tuesday, September 10th, 2024. At 11:30 a.m., we have the 42-day bill auction coming out. Not to mention at 1 p.m., we have the 3-year note auction. So everything's very minor. But just remember that tomorrow is going to be Wednesday. And before the market opens, we have CPI data coming out. That's very, very important for interest rates, the Fed's policies, understanding how inflation's looking, and many different factors like that. So that's important. And the reason for that is because there's also going to be a lot of anticipation of CPI. So if the market is optimistic, if the market thinks CPI is going to be decent, we could even see the market try to react even as early as today. That's the reason why over the last couple of CPIs, which ended up being decent, the day before we saw some buyers stepping in. There's like hedging that happens, and we tend to see some more, buyers that are very optimistic that could still shift things. So right now, it's looking like the market's trying to push higher. We'll see if this move lasts. If we continue to push, it could be because the market is anticipating a nice CPI. It's optimistic. So we'll see how things end up going. For other news about the markets, right now we're seeing a lot of talk about how the market's trying to push. Not bad whatsoever. A lot of headlines are coming out about Apple and their new products that have come out. That's good news for them, at least moving forward. But we'll be watching to see when the launches happen. I think they're coming out on September 20th. That's when they have pre-orders for the new iPhones. And besides that, I didn't see anything else that was too crazy on the news. The last thing I want to show you guys is the earnings calendar before I talk about the charts. So if you're interested in like Oracle or GameStop's earnings, that's going to be after the market closes today. We have more retail as well, and then that's pretty much it. So let's talk about the charts now. So SPY is going to be testing this key resistance right here at our 20 EMA, 548.2. If we break that on the 4-hour time frame, we're looking for 550 as our next target. If you reject you, we're looking for 546.9 as our support, not to mention 545. Looking at how we're pushing, I think that this favors upside a little bit more. There's a good chance we might try to push through this, so it's looking pretty good in my personal opinion. So we'll see if we continue to pump or not. If you look at the daily charts, we're also looking decent as well, but once again, we have that resistance to watch for at 548. So I think we're going to be testing that today. If we manage to break through this 548.21 area and we hold above it, I think we're going to be going to the 550s pretty quickly. So there might be a little bit of an attempt to push. Typically on the day before CPI, we do see a lot of consolidation and shop. So there might be a lot of choppy price action followed by some upside, especially towards the end of the day, if there's a lot of positive anticipation of the CPI report. So that's looking pretty good, at least for now. We do favor upside, but we'll see if we break resistance. For ES, we're looking at support at 54.87. If we lose that, we could be tipping all the way down towards the 54.50 area. If we hold above this, we could be looking for a push for 5,500, followed by higher levels like 55.29. So overall, this looks more bullish. I think there's a good chance we try to hold above our 20 EMA. And as long as we hold above that, we could favor this upside into the 5,500s. So we're getting very close. We favor upside on ES. We have this tough resistance coming up. But overall, the direction is still in the upwards direction. We're still looking pretty good. One thing I was mentioning, though, is that if we do see a lot of consolidation at 5,500, watch to see if we can hold above that 5,500 area. And we will likely push higher if that holds. So it's looking pretty good so far. For Nvda, we have this 108 area that's very, very key. As long as we hold above 107.8, we favor the upside direction. We're also holding this trend line very, very nicely. If we lose the trend line, if we lose support at 106.5, I could see us dip back down to 104. But as of right now, we favor the upside direction as long as 107.8 holds. We're looking for a push for that 110 target as long as we hold above that. If 110 breaks, we're looking for 112.8. But overall, we look more bullish. For Bitcoin, we are attempting to push higher. If we try to hold above 57,000, we're looking for basically 58,250 coming next. And if we end up dipping back down, we could be looking for basically 56,368, followed by 56,000 flats. So, in my personal opinion, I think we're doing a great job at holding up. Bitcoin is trying to push higher, and then the 58,000 mark is, it's doing a very, very wonderful job, at least thus far. I think there's a good chance we attempt to push higher. As long as we try to hold above 57,000, we'll see if that holds. But so far, it's looking pretty good. For Tesla, we had some good news about how the EU may cut tariffs a little bit more. That's part of why Tesla's pushing right now. However, we have this resistance at 220. If it fails, we're looking for 217 and 215 as our support zones. And if we break 220, we're looking for 222 and 225. I would say right now we're favoring the upwards direction, but 220 is a tough level, so we'll see if Tesla could break that or not. Hopefully, we do break 220 to push a little bit higher. There is potential in this. I think that there might be some consolidation in this range, some sideways price action in the beginning, but there's potential for us to try to push a little bit higher if we hold above 220. So we'll see if that ends up happening. And then we'd be looking for basically the mid 220s coming next if it ends up holding. For NQ, we have a very, very key level at this 18,750 area. If we break 18,750 and hold above it, as long as we hold above this support, I think that we're looking for 18,850, followed by almost 19,000. If we end up losing support at 18,725, we would be dipping all the way down towards 18,500. So we look a little bit more bullish to me. I think we could get closer to 19,000 once we hold above our support. So I see potential in this. For the QQQ, we basically have this 455 area as support, not to mention 453. If we hold above this, we're looking for basically 457.6 as resistance. If that breaks, we're looking for 458 and 460 as our potential targets. So look at 458. We'll see if we hold above that or not. And 460 is coming next. If we reject off 458, we could be dipping, but this has potential to push higher towards that resistance. So I think there's a good chance we go higher. For Apple, or just range bound right here, we have this resistance to watch for at this 219 area, not to mention support at 217. We're completely stuck right now, so give this the time it needs, but we're just range bound right now, and that's all I'm seeing from Apple. If we break 219, we could try to get back up to the gap fill at 221. If we lose 217, we turn a little bit more bearish for 215. There's no direction yet. We're just going back and forth, so give it some time. For a few more, like the IWM, we're range bound. If we hold above 208, we're looking for basically 210.8. If we lose 208, we're looking for a dip to 206. As of right now, we're just very choppy, very sideways, not really doing much. For a few more, we have Coinbase. Coinbase is trying to push right now. We're looking at 156 as resistance. If this breaks, we're looking for 160. If we lose this, we could be dipping back down towards 152. We're just completely range bound on coins, so give it some time. Amazon looks more bullish. We're looking for 178. I think we could push a little bit more into the 178s, but then we'll see if we reject or not. We did reject off this 200 EMA many times in the past. So if 178 breaks, we're looking for 180. If this rejects, we're coming back down to 175. But overall, it's looking a little bit more bullish. For Meta, we're looking a little bit more bullish. We're looking for basically this 510 area as our resistance. If that breaks, we're looking for 514. If it doesn't break 506, we could be dipping back down to 500. So it favors upside a little bit more. For Microsoft, we do favor upside just slightly more. We'll be looking for this 410 resistance, 408 and 410. If we lose 407, we could be tipping back down towards 404, but this chart's favoring upside a little bit more. And finally, for Google, as long as we hold above 150, we're looking for 152.5 followed by 155. If we end up losing 150, we could be dipping to 148. This favors upside just somewhat more. So we'll see how Google does. But anyways, guys, that's it for my video. The market's doing a good job at holding up. There might be a lot of consolidation today, some chop here and there, but overall the direction is more bullish, and then there might be more buyers stepping in, especially as we approach the end of the day in anticipation of the CPI report. So I still favor upside a bit more. So that being said, we'll see how things go. The market looks more optimistic for CPI for the time being, and we'll see how it goes from there. But just know that with CPI, that's going to be the bigger catalyst. It's not today, it's CPI. So even if we do push, don't turn overly bullish or overly bearish. Just wait and see. All right. Thank you for listening. I'll see you guys in a few hours for another update, and peace out.